How's it going, guys? I'm Zach, and this is Penelope. I'm the East Coast Territory Sales Manager here at Kalogon. And Penelope, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I work on the West Coast. We have a bunch of different representatives all over the country. But before we start, I'm gonna take a few minutes to see if anybody else is gonna join in, so we don't get started right away.
Yeah.
Let us know where you guys are from and
Yeah, I see we
how
have.
you've heard about us.
Yeah, I see we have some few people chiming in. We got some people from Georgia, Maine, and Oregon so far. And we're looking forward to just answering your guys' questions. And we did get some questions kind of sent in before the live Q&A, so we'll make sure we address those and go over them right away. So we'll give a few minutes for everyone to join in. And like Penelope said, if you want to send a message here in the chat of where you're from, we'd love to get to know you before we get started.
Yeah. And then a little bit about us. Calagon is based in Melbourne, Florida. So it's right next to like Kennedy Space Center where the rockets go up. It's about an hour east of Orlando. So we're sunny and 75 today. So let us know where you're from, and later I'll look up how cold it is there. But we'll be going over 3 different products today that we have in market. We have Orbiter Classic, which is coded with E2610. And then we have Orbiter Med, which is coded with E2609, and Booster, which is a separate product for single cell air cushions. That's coded with KO108. If you're an end user, you're like, I don't understand these codes. It has to do with insurance funding it. But taking a few minutes, and then we'll go right into Orbiter Classic. I know one question we had coming into this was, what is the difference between Orbiter Classic and Orbiter Med? And Zach and I will be going over that shortly. And yeah, do we have any other questions? Feel free to send a question in, and we'll make sure to cover it during this live Q&A. But thank you all for joining, and we're excited to go over what we have for you today.
Yeah. So we can go ahead and we will jump into Orbiter Classic and kind of going over our first product that we launched here at Calagon. So this is Orbiter Classic. Oh, can I hold that? Yeah. So this is Orbiter Classic. So this is our first cushion. So this is going to be our E2610 coded cushion. So it has some states where that code has coverage and reimbursement, but it's not adequately reimbursed in every state. So this is going to be more of our off-the-shelf cushion. This is going to be 3 layers of Sunmate foam stack up on top of 5 different air bladders. So there's the layer of foam on top of the air bladders, and then there's going to be 3 air cells along the back for the seating surface, and then 2 along the front for the thighs. And it's going to be sensing how you're sitting in real time and adjusting based on you. So let's say if you lean to your right or to your left, or maybe you have your grandkid come sit on your lap, it's going to sense all those changes in pressure and posture and automatically adjust based on you for any high pressure areas you don't have any areas of concern. It's also going to be completing pressure reliefs every 2, 3, or 5 minutes throughout all 5 of those air cells. So you're going to get an offload in 1 cell at a time. So take the 1 cell, drop it down to 0, raise it back up to your set pressure, and then go throughout the remaining cells. And you can change between 2, 3, or 5 minutes for that. So like I was saying, this is our first cushion. It's not a custom cushion, so it's going to be based on the width and depth measurement, and then you're going to get that standard 3-layer foam stack up. I do see we already have one question popping in. Wheelchairs come with cushions up to 24 inches. I'm trying to figure out why is a cushion limited to 22. Great question, Sean. So for the Orbiter Med, we do have it sized up to 22 by 22. If you need to go above that, you can just reach out to your local independent rep that we have in your territory, or if you wanted to reach out to myself. I know you're in Maine, so I cover that territory, so I'd be able to work with you and talk with production to see if that's a cushion we can make, because I know we have done quite a few that are outside of that 22-inch range. And then we just have to talk with production to make sure that we can make it work, and then talk with you to make sure that you're okay with that and moving forward. But we can go above the 22-inch. It's just not on the standard order form. And then for the Orbiter Classic, we can go up to 24 inches on that one for our specialty sizing. So that is an option as well. But back into a little bit on Orbiter Classic. It does those pressure reliefs every 2, 3, or 5 minutes. And then we also have a phone app where you can actually dial in the pressure you want in those cells. So you can get a little custom with Orbiter Classic, even though it is our off-the-shelf cushion. So you can customize with those air bladders to offload for a pressure injury, to compensate for an obliquity or an asymmetry. But you can do a lot more of that customization with Orbiter Med. So that's kind of what differentiates the two. Orbiter Med, you're still going to get the same air pressure management technology as Orbiter Classic. You're just not going to be getting the 3-layer foam stack up. With Orbiter Med, you're going to be getting 1 layer of Sunmate foam on top of the air bladders. And then underneath those air bladders, there's another layer of foam, which is our custom configured layer. So in this layer, you can choose different customizations like the lateral pelvic support, lateral thigh support. We do offer a medial pommel, which isn't present on this one. But on this demo, you can see that there is a little medial pommel here present. And then we also have a pre-ischial ridge customization, as well as we can do different leg length discrepancies for any residual limbs. So Orbiter Med just really allows you to have a more custom configured base. Again, this one is coded E2609, so it is adequately reimbursed across the country. To hit the code, you just have to have 2 of the 4 customization options. So for this one, it would hit the code because it has the lateral thigh and the lateral pelvic supports. But if you needed to have like a really minimally customized one, like this cushion right here, this one just has a 1-inch medial thigh support with a 1-inch lateral pelvic, which is very small. You can barely even see it in here, but that hits the code as well for the justification. So, the Orbiter Med is going to give you that custom configured base on top, underneath those air bladders. So for this cushion, there's 2 air bladders in the front for the thighs, and then 4 along the back for the seating surface. So there's 1 under each of the ITs, so they're anatomically placed based on the size of the cushion. And then there's 2 air bladders on each of those lateral pelvic supports. So if you're trying to like suspend and float the ITs, you can kind of build up the lateral pelvic supports and float those ITs to offload them really well for any existing pressure injuries. For the air pressure management for the Orbiter Med, it's going to work slightly different, where the air bladders and the thighs will never give you that pressure relief. They're just going to be static at the set pressure that you set them at. And then the 4 along the back will be completing those pressure reliefs every 2, 3, or 5 minutes. So it'll work as 1 cell will offload in the back. It drops down to 0, holds for either 2, 3, or 5 minutes, depending on what mode you select. It goes back up to your set pressure. Everything holds for their 2, 3, or 5 minutes. Then it goes to the next cell. Then does this cycle throughout the entire day, giving you a constant element of motion to keep blood flowing and skin nice and healthy. And then it also will be doing the automatic sensing to make sure you're not sitting in any way that's causing harm by putting pressure in one spot. And then it also has ambient sensors that sense the environment around you. So that's going to be the difference between the Med and Classic. You get the great technology in both. It's just the Med, you're getting a more custom cushion where you can really customize for any asymmetries through the custom configured base.
Yeah, that was a great overview, Zach.
Thanks.
I know that was a lot of information. Does anybody have any questions about what Zach just went over? But I thought that was a great overview.
Thanks. I see Sean has another question in here. Someone asked me if he was told. Okay. Yeah, Sean, just reach out to me individually. My email is just Zach, so ZACH @Kalogon.com. If you reach out to me, I can respond via email and we can jump on a phone call to discuss. And that is one thing. If we go outside that 22 by 22 for the Orbiter Med, we haven't tested necessarily for all of those different sizes in those cases. So that's where we want to make sure that we can't guarantee it's going to work the same as one of the cushions sizes we've done testing on. Right. So we have seen in the field some good results outside that. We just can't guarantee any results. Whereas inside that range, we have done a lot more testing internally just with the development of the product in general.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you, Tracy, for putting our email in there. If you guys have any questions or want to call us or schedule a meeting with us, absolutely email us after this. So what's really cool, so there's the control box. This is what connects to the cushion. It's all the brains and the operations behind what's going on. It is connected to Bluetooth through your phone. So it's the Kalogon app. This is what the interface looks like for Orbiter Med. It comes with default settings, and then you could also have up to 10 different presets. So you could have a transfer mode where I raise all of these air cells to 100, so it's easier for them to transfer off the cushion. And then here's the redistribution mode. This is Zach's demo, so it's off. but once I turn it on, then each of those air cells will independently offload throughout the day to help create that revascularization. We are published in the Journal of Tissue Viability, showing that it helps skin integrity over static air cushions. And then also you could change the redistribution for 2, 3, or 5 minutes. And you ask, yes, it is a mixture between foam and air. So if anything goes on with the cushions, say your cat gets into it or something crazy happens and one of these bags pop, the control box will alert you visually and audibly. Right now we have our volume off, but you would turn, I don't know if you can see it. You would just turn that volume up and it will tell you 3 beep or 5 beep, depending on what's wrong with your cushion. And then you could call Zach and I and we could troubleshoot that with you.
And then Sean, as you asked, those of us who spend days in our chair, 24/7. Yeah, so I have many users that have the cushion that they use continuously throughout the day. They just keep it plugged in if they're like near an outlet to keep it charged. Or if like, let's say if you just have like a power chair that has the XLR port on it, you can actually charge the control unit from the XLR port. So that way the cushion just stays continuously charged. You have to get about an 18 to 22-hour battery life, depending on the redistribution mode and how frequently it's having to adjust. But yeah, as long as you keep it charged, you'd be able to, in theory, continuously use it for as long as you're in your chair.
Yeah, we also have an extender cord. So we have a few different accessory options. We have the extender cord that would plug into the power chair to charge the control box. And then we also have the extender cord where you can turn it off and on from here and then also charge it from here. And then we do have a bunch of different mounting options. We have our mounting system that's 3D printed. And then we also just came out with a mount pouch bag, which we should have brought. But if you want to see it, we can send you pictures of it and go over it too.
Yeah, and it looks like it's like a little mini backpack that attaches to the back of like a manual wheelchair or a power wheelchair. It has 2 little clips on each side and just gives an extra mounting option for the control units.
It's been super popular.
Yeah, it's been really helpful. It makes the whole mounting pretty easy. And we also 3D print the control units as well as the mount. So like we can kind of make a custom if needed for certain wheelchairs. I know we have different mounting options available. Like we have a little T-nut option for permobiles, just to make it easier to slide into the different rail mounts.
Yeah. And then depending on where you're at, we have representatives all over the country. If you want to schedule a demo or a trial, they also have demos of all 3 products. So we could just go from there.
Yep. And then we also have one more product just to go over. So this product is going to be our booster. So the booster is a little device that attaches to your static air cushions, like your Roho, like your Star, even your off-the-shelf Amazon single-celled air cushions. The booster is going to attach to the open valve of that cushion. It's going to maintain and manage the clinically set pressure. So using the device, you can actually pump up and inflate a completely flat air cushion and maintain and manage that pressure. So to do that, you just use the device and you just hold these 2 buttons down. And then through there, it's going to allow you to add or take away air. So now that you're in clinician mode, you could then add air or take air away. And then when you're happy with it, you just hold those 2 buttons down again, and then it saves and sets that pressure. So this is really cool for to take out all the maintenance out of air cushions. So we knew the hardest thing with air cushions is just keeping them properly inflated. Because like when you go on an airplane, the altitude changes, the pressure inside your air cushion changes. So the booster is going to be sensing all those different changes in ambient conditions and automatically venting or inflating to keep you properly at those set levels. So for the booster, it's really a one-time setup, and then you can not have to worry about it again. The only maintenance on it is to keep it charged and to remember to if it says that it's the air hose has a clog or something, just to make any adjustments. But the booster will actually tell you if anything is wrong with it. So it is pretty cool in that sense. Where if you have a leak, it'll say leak detected. If the air hose has a clog, it'll say air hose clogged. So if you know something's wrong with your cushion as well.
Do you guys have any more questions? I actually really like Booster. I think it's pretty cool. So this is my demo. It's blinking yellow because I just came back from a trip from Dallas. I was at the Dallas Abilities Expo, which was really fun. Met a lot of new people. If you're from the Dallas Abilities Expo where you met Tracy, Caitlin, and I, let us know. and tell us how you thought about it. But I didn't charge my booster demo. That's what I was trying to get. But my volume's off right now. So if booster is dying, it will visually and audibly also tell you that you need to charge it. What's really cool about it, it has a 56-hour battery life. But we still say charge it at night with your devices because if you have a leak, it's still going to be pumping and using up that battery. So this is booster. Do you guys have any questions? I feel like this has been a quiet live Q&A, but if you guys have any questions, just put it in the chat. ETA between date of order and date of delivery on average.
Yeah, so typically, Sean, once we receive a PO from like an NSM or New Motion, typically the cushion is shipped out within 14 business days. And then however long it takes from UPS, typically probably 2 to 3 more days after that. So right now we're trying to get our lead times down. Right now it's about 14 business days.
And then for booster, that's different. So yeah, it's about 7 business days for booster.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Does anyone have any other questions? I know Sean's been asking some great questions here, but does anyone else have any questions they can think of about either Orbiter Classic or Orbiter Meta Booster? I feel like
we could also show the difference between the minimal customizations that you have on your Orbiter Med and then
So just to go over, like, these would both qualify for the E2609 code. It's just this cushion, you can tell this is a side profile and this is the front, so it has a medial thigh support, and then that's the only customization in the front. There's no lateral thighs, but there is very small lateral pelvics. As you can see, there's 1 inch on the lateral pelvics here, and that satisfies the E2609 code. So you can have a very minimally customized cushion, or as you can see with Penelope's here, she has a little bit more aggressive there, where you can really get some contouring and do some customizations for any asymmetries, or just to give someone some more support, especially with those pelvic supports in the back there.
Yeah.
And then you can also, if you need to, as you can see with these demos, for like a manual wheelchair, we know this air hose sometimes gets in the way. So you can shorten it if you need to for like manual chairs, and then longer for power chairs to give more access there.
And then the incontinence cover does completely cover the tubing, so no substance can get into the foam. What's really neat, which I think you already went over, Zach, but I think it's a good point, is that so you have this external cover, which is machine washable on cold, and then you can let it air dry. And then in every Orbiter Med and Orbiter Classic, it comes with an incontinence cover. For Orbiter Med, there is a layer of Sunmate viscoelastic foam that's sewn into the incontinence cover. Mm-hmm. And then inside is that foam stack up and those 6 air bladders.
And then how much? Classic with control unit weighs about 6 pounds. It's going to vary depending on the size of the cushion, obviously just because of the foam. It's about 6 pounds for because the control unit's about 3.5 pounds, and then the weight of the foam varies. Sean, out-of-pocket cost is going to it will be determined by like the NSM or New Motion. I'm not sure exactly how much, if they discount for when they charge out-of-pocket or not. But we currently don't do any direct-to-consumer sales, so it would be going through like the new NSM branch that you're working with. Great questions, though. Do
you guys have any more questions? How can we get how can we get a demo in person? Yeah, that's a good question, Tracy. So we have reps so I have the West Coast, so I have Texas, Illinois, all the way to California, and I have about 16 independent reps in that region. And then Zach, you have 14, right, from on the East Coast. Yep. So if you guys want to demo a cushion, all of our reps have all 3 products. So you can reach out to us, and then we can also connect you with the representative to schedule a trial.
Yep. And we also have certain NSM or New Motion branches across the country that might have a demo at their facility. So it's just depending on where some of our reps have put those demos across the country.
Yeah.
They might be at those facilities, as well as some of the different hospital systems across the country as well. Like I know, like for example, like Ohio State University, their medical center has some demos there. So
Yeah.
we do have some demos spread out. So feel free to reach out. We can see if there's a demo local to you, and then we can set up an in-service for sure. And yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great questions. Is there any more questions? Again, our phone numbers, or not phone numbers, but our emails are going to be shared in the chat. And then, oh, we got a couple more questions. Another question one. How to tell doctor how your cushion prevents pressure sores? Yeah, so Sandy, if you needed to, you could for sure connect us with your doctor about the cushion. Because the cushion doesn't necessarily prevent pressure sores. Because there's still going to be a bunch of things that you're going to want to do on your own to help with pressure injury prevention. What the cushion does do is it gives you an element of motion by providing those pressure reliefs every 2, 3, or 5 minutes. So the technology is all published in 2 different journal articles, which Tracy just put here in the chat. But you can see all that different technology published in there. But the cushion's going to be doing those pressure reliefs and sensing how you're sitting. So it's sensing those high pressure points. So if you are sitting in one way, putting more pressure on like your back right IT, it's going to sense that and lower it so you don't have a high pressure point. So it doesn't necessarily prevent them itself, but there's going to be a lot of things that the cushion does which help prevent a little bit. Yeah. It's going to yeah. And then, but yeah, feel free to connect either me or Penelope with your wound care doctor. We'd be happy to talk to them about the cushion, go over the technology and all the different stuff there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know if you guys have any more questions.
Yeah, I see Tracy putting all our socials and all the links in there. Yeah, I think.
Zach, where are you off to next?
That's a great question. I think the next place I'll be is up in the New York area, or maybe Richmond or Baltimore next. How about you?
Nice. I'll be going to Houston. We have a CEU day with some clinicians with Southwestern medical reps, and then I'll be heading over to Oregon in January, which I do not have clothes for.
Very nice. So, it's gonna be chilly.
Yeah, it'll be cold.
Yeah.
But super excited to get out there and get with a new representative out there and go out to some NSM, New Motion, and other dealer branches and meet some clinicians. So it'll be good.
Very nice. Very nice.
So yeah, if you guys have any more questions, let us know. Feel free to email us and we can schedule a call with you guys to do a deeper dive on Orbiter Med, Orbiter Classic, or answer any questions you guys might have.
Yep.
And then we can go from there.
Perfect. And yeah, and like Trish said, we will also share this recording on our socials as well. I think it's on our website. It will be on our website. And then you can also see previous recordings as well from other live Q&As. But thank you all again for taking the time to join in today, learn more about Orbiter Med, Orbiter Classic, and Booster. And yeah, and if you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out anytime, and we're going to be here to help you guys out. All right. Well, if there's no more questions, we'll give you guys back about 5 minutes of your day, and have a good one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.